Break the wheel. Make it stop.
Hello again, gentle viewers, and welcome back to another episode of The Broken Wheel. In this video, we'll be looking at the first episode of Season 2 of the Wheel of Time series, titled A Taste of Solitude. If you're not subscribed to the channel, please consider doing so to help the channel grow. But with all that said, let our journey begin again. The first bit of the episode is a recap of the previous season, which I'm just going to skip. The season starts at this building in the shape of a six-pointed star. A girl is playing outside near these discs with the old Aes Sedai symbol on them. These will be important later in the season. The girl is chased inside by Trollocs, and she hides under a table where several hooded dark friends are having a meeting. As the girl looks at the underside of the people seated, we see that one is wearing the Black Hawk of Shinar, another has a great serpent ring of the Aes Sedai, and a third has very long fingernails, painting the picture that the shadow has spies everywhere. And it really does. The girl is greeted by our old friend Ashamiel, who is not hooded. While talking to the girl, we hear Ashamiel refer to the Forsaken as the Chosen.
Do you know why they call me and the other Chosen such hideous things?
This is the title that Dark Friends address the Forsaken as. We also see that Padan Fain is one of the Dark Friends in attendance. As Ashamiel takes the girl back outside, you can see this one person who is wearing mostly white under their disguise. This could be an implication that this person is one of the Children of the Light. Outside, we get a show of how obedient the Trollocs are to Ashamiel, as one of them allows the girl to touch him. This would never happen under any other circumstances, as Trollocs prefer food is human flesh. We next see Moirraine gathering water from a well in the kingdom of Arafel. This is another Borderlands nation just west of Shinar. Without the use of the One Power, Moirraine is now having to perform many mundane tasks physically. Where before she could conjure water and heat it in a matter of seconds, she now has to wait and do it like a regular person. While in the bath, Moirraine is obviously still dealing with the trauma of being cut off from the One Power. Alone, we can see that she is trying not to cry and balling herself up. Lan is also dealing with the loss of having his bond with Moirraine severed. He tries to lose himself in sword forms, but his frustration gets the better of him. Inside the villa Moirraine and Lan are staying in, we meet Varin Mathwin, an Aes Sedai of the Brown Aja, her warder Tomas, and sister Adelis. I'm not sure if Adelis is Varin's sibling or just another Aes Sedai when the two talk about being sisters. I'm not aware of Varin having a familial sister in the books. Adelis playfully admits to be admiring Lan without his shirt on when a rider approaches to see Moirraine. We learn this is the latest of many, and she has been keeping everyone at arm's length, including Lan. The man visiting is the captain of the riverboat Spray named Bael Doman. This character is first introduced in the first book when he helps Rand, Matt, and Tom Merrilin. If you want to know more about that, check out my video comparing the first book and the first season of The Wheel of Time. Moirraine coldly dismisses Lan, not even bothering to look at him. We next find Egwene in the White Tower performing chores for the Aes Sedai as a novice. Her task today seems to be collecting dirty dishes, leftover food, and unfinished drinks. Egwene inadvertently sees Alana playing hide the sausage with her warders, or sausages in this case. One thing that tends to get lost about the characters from the Two Rivers is that, though they are older in the TV series, they are still from a very small community where the ways of the rest of the world are unknown. We see a fighting pit where warders are training, and we see several other novices in their white dresses watching. The book describes the main training area for warders and Tar Valon's army as being outdoors, which makes more sense. It's a guilty pleasure for novices to watch the men train. Egwene joins Nyneave in one of the kitchens. Nyneave is frustrated about doing chores for the past 6 months, giving us an idea of how much time has passed since the end of Season 1. Egwene tells Nyneave,
It builds, character.
Yeah, I don't buy it either. Alana gathers all the novices together for a lesson using the swill from the collection buckets. This is the first time in the TV series that the subject of the 5 elements of the One Power is described.
Air, earth, fire, spirit, and water.
Good.
Alana gathers threads of earth that are slightly greenish in one hand, as well as threads of water, which is bluish. She weaves them together for the novices to see and then pours the dirty water through the weave. The water comes through clean, and Alana tells them that none of them can leave until they drink the water in their glasses. Nyneave is still unable to channel without getting angry. Alana recites a meditative exercise that is taught to all novices to help them touch the true source.
Picture the bud of a flower in your mind's eye. It's pink. It's supple. It's ready.
It's not working.
Nyneave gets frustrated as this doesn't work for her. She then gulps down the dirty water and walks out despite Alana, which I absolutely loved because that is Nyneave. We cut to a meeting with several Aes Sedai from every Aja, but the main people speaking are Ilana Liandrin and the Mistress of Novices, Sharam Bayanar. The Mistress of Novices oversees the training and well-being of all novices, including punishments. It is an important position within the White Tower and is appointed by the Armelin seat personally. Liandrin suggests that Nyneave would be better able to get over her block with another teacher, namely herself. Alana counters that Liandrin is forbidden from teaching novices as one died under Liandrin's care. Sharam agrees, as every woman that can channel is precious. The Aes Sedai's numbers have been dwindling as well as their strength with the One Power. Liandrin makes a point that something is stirring in the world and the Aes Sedai are not ready. She brings up several examples, including another false dragon in Saldea. I believe this is referring to a character named Mazam Tame, but we'll have to wait and see. Liandrin offers a compromise of just being allowed to talk to Nyneave, and Shriam agrees. We then come to Perrin writing to Egwene and Nyneave on the trail of Padan Fain, who last season stole the Horn of Valere. A party of Shienarans are in pursuit of Fain's band of Darkfriends and Shadowspawn. The foul-mouthed Uno is with the party, as is Loyal. Though he looks similar to Yokota from Season 1, the leader of the group is a different man named Ingtar. They come to what they think is a smoke signal started by their tracker that Loyal calls a sniffer. This is referring to a character named Huron, who is the group's tracker in the books. However, I was surprised to see that it is actually a different character named Elias. Elias is first introduced in the first book, but his part in that was not in Season 1. If you want to learn more about Elias's part in the first book, check out my video comparing Season 1 to the first book. First thing to notice about Elias is that he has golden eyes, just like the color that Perrin's changed into when the wolves appeared. If you haven't figured it out yet, Elias has the same ability as Perrin. Uno criticizes Elias for making an obvious signal fire, but we see that Elias wasn't the one who set it. Several people have been killed by Padan Fain and his Shadowspawn. The colorful wagon and the people's clothing suggest they were Tuatha'an, but were never really told. Perrin sees after images of what happened as his eyes turn gold. This isn't an ability Perrin has in the books. I believe the writers are trying to combine Perrin's ability with the before-mentioned Huron's abilities as a sniffer. Elias mentions a child that made it out, and it looks like this may be the girl from the beginning of the episode. Captain Doman mentions dealings with the sea folk.
Spend my fair share of time haggling sea folk.
These are a society of island-dwelling people who have a well-earned reputation as being equal parts expert sailors and traders. He brings out what he thinks is the most valuable ware, a piece of broken Quendalar, or heartstone. Moirraine notices that something is written on it, and Captain Doman tells her that a poem was written on the broken pieces of whatever it used to be in blood. He produces a copy of the poem, and Moirraine haggles with Doman on the poem's price. He agrees to lower the price on the poem, but won't budge on the price of the Heartstone. Moirraine surprises him by only paying for the poem and telling Doman,
But the Heartstone...
Sea folk might be good at the game, Master Doman, but the Aes Sedai invented it.
As he is leaving, Captain Doman describes black-robed men that have been following him. Thinking Moirraine sent them, Doman demands that she call them off. Moirraine then gives the boat captain more money and tells him to sail as far away as he can. Back in Tar Valon, we find Nyneave learning to use a sword with Alana's warders. I didn't really like this at all, as this is out of character for Nyneave. She is a healer at her core, and learning to fight with a sword just doesn't suit her, in my opinion. While trying to learn to channel, Nyneave is interrupted by Liandrin. After some exchange of different ideologies, Liandrin attacks Nyneave with a barrage of wind. While this does happen in the book, it's actually Siuan Sanche that does it, not Liandrin. I found this interesting because Moirraine mentions last season about an Aes Sedai she admired but never gave the woman's name. That Aes Sedai lashed out at Moirraine with weaves of air just like what Liandrin is doing now. This may be the root of their animosity, as Liandrin may have been grooming Moirraine to be a red only to have her choose blue. Nyneave eventually becomes angry enough to channel and uses the same weave that Liandrin was using on her. Liandrin compliments Nyneave on learning the weave so quickly, but then cuts Nynaeve's connection to the true source. Liandrin then plays to Nynaeve's problem with authority by telling her,
I want to see you become so powerful that no man, no woman, will ever be able to take that away from you.
Not even me.
As Ingtar's men are burying the people that died in the evening, Perrin notices that one is a soldier from Valdara and was most likely one of the traitors that let Fain into the city. Perrin admits to being full of rage at Fain for bringing the Trollocs to his village. Ingtar tries to talk him down, but seems to have little effect. Nyneave brings one of Perrin's letters to Egwene and finds the younger woman making a lantern for Beltane. Nyneave is shocked that she had forgotten and that a whole year has passed. While listening to the letter, we cut to a cell of sorts to find Liandrin reading a copy of the letter to Mat. She mocks him by pointing out that there is no mention of him in the letter and that it is most likely because he abandoned his friends. We learn that he has been confined here for 6 months with no reason given for it. When Liandrin leaves, we see that Mat has not been idle. Behind a dresser in the cell, Mat has been chiseling away at the stones in the wall. Perrin puts a lantern into a stream and for a moment considers leaving his wedding ring, telling us that this lantern was most likely for his dead wife. However, he puts it back on and we see he placed a second lantern in the water, presumably for Ran. And then we briefly see the dragon reborn is still very much alive somewhere, though he has shaved his head. After confronting Moirraine about her treatment of him, Lan brings Moirraine her dinner only to find her gone. Moirraine has secretly prepared her horse and rides out into the night alone. It isn't long before she is attacked by 2 Fades. This attack does happen in the books, but her and Lan are attacked by a Drakkar, not Fades. I don't think we're ever going to get to see a Drakkar at this rate. This is a terrifying moment for Moirraine, for she no longer has the one power to protect herself. This is the most vulnerable she has ever been, and she has to handle it with only her wits. Moirraine is also at a huge disadvantage, for Fades can move freely in and out of darkness, as well as see perfectly in the dark. Moirraine manages to surprise one of the Fades, but is swiftly attacked from behind by the other. Lan appears and beheads the Fade before it can kill her. 2 more Fades arrive and are able to overpower Lan. Thinking they are about to die, Lan reaches out for Moirraine, and for a moment we are led to think that Moirraine has regained her ability to channel. However, this is actually Varen and her sister channeling. They stun the Fades with a loud noise and then killed by Tomas, with weaves of fire covering his sword. Lan looks over at Moirraine and asks her,
What aren't you telling me?
and that's where the episode ends. So I hope you've enjoyed this video on Episode 1, Season 2. If you like this content, please consider leaving a like and or comment below. Thank you for watching, and as always, may you walk in the light.